Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 260. It is Tuesday here in Cincinnati. It's hot and sticky and beautiful outside, blue skies, lots of sunshine, really pretty but warm day. As we move through summer and into fall, it is a season where there is so much changing each day. It's just amazing to witness nature in this process she's moving through. So I invite you, if you live in the Midwest and you have not been outside much in the last few days, go outside, look at the trees, look at the leaves, look at the grass, the flowers. Like, there is just this absolute metamorphosis that is happening right in front of our eyes. And often we're so busy with our routine and our schedules that we miss the cycle of what is happening all around us in nature. So go outside. Go outside. This actually ties in so beautifully to the theme for today's podcast, which is traveling. So it comes from, well, it comes because I've been traveling, and it's relevant. It ties into jet lag, which was yesterday, but it also was this image that came to mind in my meditation of a Zen card from my Osho deck that I read often in this space. And I think I'll start with the reading of the card, and then we'll kind of play with this idea a little bit. So, of course, it's card number 8 in the the fire deck, which is perfect. 8 is about infinity and abundance, and so, of course, traveling connects in with that. The card, I'll take a picture of it because it's just so beautiful and post it in the Soulshine Tribe on Facebook. It shows, it's like lots of browns, oranges, yellows, some white clouds, and it shows this view from way up high looking down on a mountain range, maybe like how the Wall of China would look a little bit from way up above. And it shows this person at sort of the beginning of this trail and at the bottom of the card, and then as you look at the trail, it disappears into the mountains, and then way off in the distance is this sort of hazy yellow sunshine, big sun in the middle. And so this person looks like they have a long way to go. And so here's what the card says. It's called traveling. Life is a continuity, always and always. There is no final destination it is going towards, just the pilgrimage. Just the journey in itself is life. Not reaching to some point, no goal, just dancing and being in pilgrimage, moving joyously without bothering about any destination. What will you do by getting to a destination? Nobody has asked this because everybody is trying to have some destination in life. But the implications, if you really reach the destination of life, then what? Then you will look very embarrassed. Nowhere to go. You have reached to the final destination. And in the journey, you've lost everything. You had to lose everything. So standing naked at the final destination, you will look all around like an idiot. What was the point? You were hurrying so hard. You were worrying so hard. And this is the outcome. Isn't that great? I love that so much. The commentary says, the tiny figure moving on the path through this beautiful landscape is not concerned about the goal. He or she knows that the journey is the goal. The pilgrimage itself is the sacred place. Each step on the path is important in itself. When this card appears in a reading, it indicates a time of movement and change. It may be a physical movement from one place to the next, or an inner movement from one way of being to another. But whatever the case, this card promises that the going will be easy and will bring a sense of adventure and growth. There is no need to struggle or plan too much. The traveling card also reminds us to accept and embrace the new, just as when we travel to another country with a different culture and environment than the one we are accustomed to. This attitude of openness and acceptance invites new friends and experiences into our lives. So good, right? Osho is so smart and simple and profound. And the card just captures the whole point of life. It's about the experiences that we're having along the way. So why do I share this with us today at this moment? There is an overwhelming sense at times of so much going on around us that what I find for many people is it's easier to close our eyes and shut everything out and just go kind of numb or internal, because there's so much external activity happening that we don't really know which way to move. And so quite a lot of times, quite often, we can feel that sense of being stuck. Like, we know we're on a pilgrimage, we know we're here to do something in this life, we know that there's energy that wants to move through us, and yet we're so overwhelmed by the options or the work that it looks like it will take to step onto that pilgrimage that we kind of shut down and we stay in what is super safe and familiar and known. So perhaps a word that can go along with this idea of traveling is the word focus. If we think about, I'll give you an example. When I was out of town last week, the one flight I had was a long flight, and when I landed in the in-between destination, there were 3 flights, and in the middle one, I landed in this airport that had this food court. And when I first came into the food court, I realized I didn't have the charger I needed for my phone. I hadn't made the international service that I needed for it. I didn't have the money that I needed in the right currency. Like, everything was just sort of all out of whack. And I remember kind of going, whoa, like, what do I do? I want to be present and flow through this experience, and also I'm a little overwhelmed by the logistics of what needs to be managed. So I did what all travelers should do. I went to the bathroom. Brushed my teeth, splashed a little water on my face, washed my hands, got myself grounded into my body. And then I went back out with a sense of curiosity and focus. What I knew I needed first was some water and something to eat. And so the phone would wait, all the other stuff would wait, and I would just use my credit card, which I'd activated for international travel. So I walked around this new space with a very clear focus. I need food and I need water. Preferably something cold in a bottle with water would be great. And so that was my one thing that I knew I needed to do first. I found the most delicious ham and cheese croissant that I've ever eaten in my life, and the most awesome pastry, and a really cool bottle of water, and there was no problem communicating and completing my exchange. And then I found a seat and I sat down. And I breathed, right? I just landed in the focus of what needed to happen first. What I found as I was eating my sandwich, my croissant, and I was looking around, is it became fascinating. The languages, the people, the activity that was happening, the variety of food places, and the messages, just everything. Instead of it being overwhelming, it became this, what would the word be? Kaleidoscope. This kaleidoscope of experiences happening all around me. And I didn't have to go engage in any of them. I didn't have to take care of anybody. I was just witnessing, just enjoying this experience of life in that moment, knowing I was safe, I had the basics that I needed, and the logistics of the phone would work itself out. So I hooked into Wi-Fi, made the calls, got everything set up. I was ready to go. When we are in this world at this time, so here on planet Earth, wherever you happen to live, there is such a volume of activity and interests and options that can pull our attention in so many different ways. And our practice, I believe, for many of us is, how do we focus on the things that most serve us individually at the highest possibility in our path right now? Let me say that again, because that was a lot. I believe what many of us are learning at this time in this very overpopulated planet Earth, with so many new creations being brought into existence, the opportunity for us is to practice focusing on what most serves our path, our individual path, in the highest possibility. And that's going to be different for everyone. So if the reset that you've been working on, the thing that you've been dealing with over the last few weeks as we've moved through all of these topics in this podcast, if what you've been focusing on is health, then it shouldn't matter to you, or this is my judgment, but this is an invitation for you to explore. Perhaps it shouldn't be so important to you what's going on in politics or in climate change or in education. If what you are focusing on is your health, then that is the one area that you put all of your harnessed, powerful attention on. What does your body need? How do you bring into your experience as you are traveling through this journey of life exactly what most serves strengthening your health? Because this moment in the journey is the most important one. Not the person that you're going to be in 5 years, or the house you're going to live in 10 years, or the job you're going to have in 2 months. Right now, this moment, what most serves your health. Because everything you're choosing right now is going to determine what your traveling looks like as you continue moving through life. Tomorrow, next week, 10 years, 20 years, it's all determined by right now. The choices you're making, the focus you're putting your attention on right now. If your theme that you've been looking at in this reset is a relationship, whether it's a relationship you currently have or a relationship you're desiring, right? Breathe. Relationships. The image with the traveling person in the Zen card, they're traveling by themselves, and sometimes for many of us, we're like, wouldn't that just be easier? Shouldn't everyone just travel alone? It's so much simpler. But relationships are where we learn, we are reflected to ourselves, we have reflected to ourselves the parts that we are working on in our own journey, right? It's funny, when I travel with different people, different aspects of myself come forward. That's a whole different podcast. We'll do that another time. Yeah, it's like in The Amazing Race, where you're watching from the outside the two people in the partnership traveling, and how one does one thing and it totally sets the other one off, and then sets the other person up, and then suddenly this couple that looked like they had it all going on was just falling apart in front of our eyes on the TV show. Traveling can feel like that when what we're focusing on is relationships. The person we're in that relationship with at the moment, if that's what you're looking at in this reset, the person that you are focusing on is going to be reflecting to you exactly what you most need to be working on in yourself. Always. It always is like that. As frustrating as it seems, like, it's always the truth. The person that we are spending the most time with working on their stuff is actually reflecting to us our stuff. So instead of looking way down the road at the destination, we want this amazing blah, 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 whatever it would be, or we want the beloved, or we want the perfect marriage, or we want the most amazing boss, coworker relationships possible, whatever it is, the relationship you're exploring. The place where you can have the most healing and expansion in this reset is right now. The traveling that is happening right now in the relationship as you are in it in this moment. So instead of looking way down the road at what you wish it could be or dream about, like, be right here. Be right here. Be present for this experience that is happening in this moment with you. See it as sacred already. See it as the gift that it is already. Those you are in relationship with, at a soul level, we have all agreed to be side by side at this time of awakening on our planet. That's an incredible, incredible gift and contract. So be right here and see what nuggets of awesomeness are here for you. When I was sitting in the airport and I was looking around at all these different people and all the different languages and the families and the couples, you can see from the outside so clearly the mom who's like losing it, the dad who's zoning out on the phone, the kid who is like clearly about to have a meltdown. The businessman, there was this one businessman who literally did not take his headset off and was talking for, I don't even know, an hour. And then on the bus to the plane, he was still talking on the bus with his headphone. Like, he was so in his own experience, right? And so all of those examples were reflecting to me, this is what's available in the journey of life. Which one are you choosing? How do you want to show up? How do I want to be in my own journey? And what I like is calm. I like laughing. I like having easy exchanges with the people around me about the mundane things of the weather and the bus and the delays and the communication. I want to play with practicing the language and enjoying when I screw it up and the people across from me are smiling because I used the wrong word and they teach me the right word. I don't need to master it. I just want to be engaged in it, to feel the abundance of experiences around me and then narrow in on what is it that I most want to focus on right now. I don't have to do everything and be everything for everyone. Just right here, right now, what is it that I want to be experiencing and enjoying about this journey of life? So wherever you are traveling, whether that's locally from your house to your job or your house to the school or to the gym or to the Kroger's like I did yesterday, or maybe you're traveling around the world, whether you're traveling by yourself or you're traveling in relationship with one people or lots of people, be right here in this experience of it and know that this is perfect right where you are, and you chose this, you created this, or you wouldn't be in this moment. And there's something amazing, there's something sacred right here for you. So be present, explore that, allow it to teach you and to guide you, and know that what you do and create right now is going to be leading you right into that path that's going to take you 5, 10, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. But it's happening here, right now. Yeah. It's an incredible time to be alive on planet Earth. An incredible time. So focus in on what it is that most serves you right here and right now. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in aligning with the optimal health of your mind, body, spirit in the virtual community of Viv's Energy Gym. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.